plant-water relation. In this plant-water relation up to 8, we have discussed about the physical processes involved in the absorption of water from the soil, like diffusion, imbibition, and osmosis. Today, we are going to discuss about the plasmolysis. In last lecture, we have discussed when we place the plant cell into the hypotonic solution. When we place the plant cell into the hypotonic solution, water it started to get entered inside the cell, and the process it is called as endocytosis. But instead of hypotonic solution, if we place this plant cell into the hypertonic solution, then what happens? The cytoplasmic content, water from the plant cell, start to move out, and the process is called as exoosmosis. So here in the plasmolysis you can observe what happens. The process of exoosmosis takes place. So plasmolysis is an exoosmosis in living cell when placed in hypertonic solution, and this process is called as plasmolysis. What is plasmolysis? When we place a cell, living cell, into the hypertonic solution, by the process of exoosmosis, cell cytoplasmic content move outside the cell, and it is called as a plasmolysis. During plasmolysis, protoplast of cell shows a shrinking. This shrunken protoplast and the cell wall are get separated from each other. Thus cell it becomes flaccid due to the process of exoosmosis. In a plasmolyzed cell, the gap is developed in between the protoplast, means plasma membrane, and a cell wall. This gap is filled by the outer solution in which we have kept the cell. In a plasmolyzed cell, turgor pressure is always 0 because water is moved outside the cell. If water molecules are moved outside the cell, automatically what happens? The pressure of water inside the cell start to decrease. When cell is get completely plasmolyzed, there is no any turgor pressure. There is no any water pressure present inside the cell. If water pressure is not there, then we can say turgor pressure is also 0. Now, what happens actually? As turgor pressure is get decreases, the shape of a cell is not maintained. You can observe the shape of a cell is not maintained at all inside the plasmolyzed cell. Then if we place the same cell into the hypotonic solution, then this cell it go for entrance of water from external medium towards the cell cytoplasm, and is called as a endoosmosis. So when plasmolyzed cell is placed in a hypotonic solution, by the process of endoosmosis, the cell it becomes turgid. That means turgor pressure is get increases inside the cell, and the process is called as deplasmolysis. Now remember, first cell kept into the hypertonic solution, so exoosmosis takes place. Now same cell kept into the hypotonic solution, so endoosmosis takes place, called as a deplasmolysis. Now when same cell kept into the hypertonic solution, it is called as replasmolysis. Mind it. First, plasmolysis, second, deplasmolysis, and third, replasmolysis. We are playing with the same cell because we have taken one plant living cell. This cell first kept into the hypertonic solution, so automatically it go for exosmosis and result in plasmolysis. Then this plasmolyzed cell we have collected and put into the hypotonic solution. Further, water from external medium started to enter towards the cytoplasm. It resulted in endosmosis and cell become deplasmolized. Now the same cell is collected and kept into the first hypertonic solution. It go for exosmosis. Again cell get plasmolized, so we say replasmolysis. Mind it, plasmolysis, deplasmolysis and replasmolysis. Here deplasmolysis. In deplasmolized cell what happen? When we keep the cell into the hypotonic solution, by the process of endosmosis, water get entered inside the cell and cell it becomes fully turgid. In fully turgid cell, turgor pressure is equal to osmotic pressure, which we have previously discussed about the diffusion pressure deficit. So dPd of fully turgid cell is 0, as dPd is equal to turgor pressure minus osmotic pressure. Then here the diagram is shown to you people about the rheoleaf. First one is a normal cell. When this normal cell is kept into the hypotonic solution, is get plasmolized by the process of exosmosis. The plasma membrane is get separated from the cell wall. This one it is on a cell wall, and from this cell wall this red colored structure which is covered with the help of PM, plasma membrane, and such a cell it is called as a plasmolyzed cell. Got it? The next, importance of turgor pressure. When cytoplasm contains a more amount of water, it generates a pressure on the wall of a cell. What is the importance of this water pressure or turgor pressure inside the cell cytoplasm? This turgor pressure it is helpful to keep the cell and cell organelles in a stretched form. If they remain in a stretched form, automatically it is helpful for providing a support to the plant body are in a young stage or the plant body who do not show an woody appearance. Instead of that, it is also helpful for cell elongation during the process of growth. It helps to maintain the shape of a cell. As in a previous diagram only we have discussed, in a plasmolyzed cell, plasma membrane and inner cytoplasm get shrunken, so they can't maintain their shape. As cell wall is rigid, that's why we can observe they shows a polygonal structure. This turgor pressure is also helpful for mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. As turgor pressure get increases, stomata get open. Turgor pressure get decreases, stomata get closed. Then, importance of osmosis. The process of osmosis shows much importance in the absorption of water from the soil towards the root. It helps to maintain the turgidity of the cell. It is also helpful for the movement of water from one cell to the another cell, as well as it helps to offer the resistance during the condition of a drought as well as during the frozen condition. It also helpful in the dropping of leaflets and leaves in a vicinity of touch me not plant. You can take an example. When we are going to touch the plant, name touch me not plant, they leads to the dropping down of leaflets. Why? Because they leads to changing in their osmotic pressure and turgor pressure also. Turgor pressure immediately get decreases from that plant leaf. Why? Because the process of exosmosis takes place from the plant leaf towards the petiole and towards the midrib. The water starts to move and automatically it results in the closing of a leaflets. The next, facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is a passive absorption of solutes mediated by the carrier. It is called as a facilitated diffusion. In this process of passive absorption of solutes, what happens actually? They start to move from their higher concentration to lower concentration. But in facilitated diffusion, what happens? Particles that are lipid soluble can move easily through the lipid membrane. They can diffuse through the lipoproteinous cell membrane. The diffusion of hydrophilic solutes, hydro water, philic love. So the solutes are get dissolved inside the water and they have an attraction towards the water molecule. Has to be facilitated because their diffusion across the lipoproteinous membrane, it is difficult because this lipoproteinous membrane do not allow the transport of such hydrophilic solutes through this lipid bilayer. As we have discussed previously, the lipid bilayer shows a hydrophobic head and a hydrophilic tail. The hydrophobic head are facing towards both of the side. So they do not allow the diffusion of hydrophilic solutes through them. So for the diffusion of such a hydrophilic solute, there should be certain provision, and this provision it is called as a facilitated diffusion. Here the membrane proteins provide such a sites for facilitated diffusion, which forms protein channels. These proteins, they have aquaporins and ion channels. These aquaporins or ion channels are helps to move the substances across the membrane without expenditure of energy. Because it is not at all possible to move those substances from one side to another side through the lipoprotein membrane, but they have to move because are needed inside the cell cytoplasm. Then how they get moved? They move through the ion channels or aquaporins, which we have discussed in the form of protein channels. Extrinsic protein and intrinsic protein, which we have discussed in a plasma membrane. Phospholipid bilayer, fluid mosaic model given by the scientist Nicholson. The next, concentration gradient must be present for the molecules to be diffused through the facilitated diffusion from their higher concentration to lower concentration. This is about the facilitated diffusion. In next lecture, we are going to study about the water potential. It's all for today's lecture.